What's up YouTube? Today we have our GSX-8S 2023 model and we're going to be installing a Delkevic 14-inch round can on the bike. Got a few things done already. We're missing our side fairings. We're missing our top tank fairings here as well. You can see that those are right there. I can link the video in the description below on how to do that. It was someone else's video, I just followed along. Super simple steps to do that. Plan of attack with this is we are going to be taking off the radiator and moving it out of the way. We have 4 10mm bolts, 1, 2, and then on the other side 3, 4. We have a clip here, which we'll be using this for. So I went ahead and disconnected this lower radiator hose, and I have a bucket for it all to drain into. It drains for a little bit. That's why we have this guy underneath. It spills everywhere. Went ahead and took off the radiator cap. It's a little tight. There we go. Disconnect the clip, slide the whole radiator out of the way, and while we're at it, we'll go and grab the bucket from the other side and finish draining out the rest of that coolant. Alright, next thing that we gotta do is we gotta remove this piece right here to access our O2 sensor. Got an extender here on a 6mm. See that? 6mm. Alright, here we go. So I went ahead and grabbed a 4mm Allen key. Alright, now it's moved away here. We've got a 17mm wrench. The ratcheting part's nice, but we're not going to be using that. Alright, so after removing the exhaust headers, you're going to have these copper exhaust rings, right? And they're made to crush. Here's one of them I just took out. There's two sides. This is obviously the side that was pressed in like this. That being said, there's a way to get them out, and to do so, I kind of used a flathead screwdriver like this. Got in, there's a little lip, and then fulcrumed up against the air valve right there. Just be careful while you're doing it, take your time. The headers that are part of the exhaust system here. We can see that they're connected by the exhaust springs, and that's what holds them together here. However, I don't want to put the headers on and then put all this torque on where the bolts go and this header connector area. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. It still allows you a little free range movement. Something cool about these Delkevic ones is that it says 1 and 2 on the collector pipe. Obviously the collector pipe can only go this way, so that's where the O2 sensor bung is. So you just match it up 1, 1, 2, 2, and they give you, I got 2 exhaust pullers. Give you this little guy right here, so pull this, just like so. Next part here is we have this bung. There's the bung. Then we have a copper crush washer. We're going to use this. I took off the old one from the previously used one. So we're just going to crush like that. And it's going to be right hand. That's all like so. Retwist. It's not the punch. Say or shake it, that's not going anywhere. Ready? The other way. Alright, so after about like a half an hour of trying to finagle with just stuff to see what fits where, kind of come to a solution here. And we're trying to figure out where and how does this big muffler, where does it mount to, right? We're given this as mounting hardware, and it's like, okay, where does this go? I mean, does it replace the passenger peg? That's kind of silly, right? Actually, as a matter of fact, you have to pull out, what normally holds in the pin here is this pin, the C-clamp. You gotta pop the C-clamp. Pop the C-clamp out, and they give you this hardware instead that's a skinny screwdriver. What you do then is it fits and slots into this block right here, this screw area right here, and there is nothing here, so it's essentially just like a pathway. There's nothing here, there's no bolt on the other side, so I'm actually going to add a little bit of blue Loctite that I have just to make sure that it stays snug and it doesn't back out while riding or any sort of vibration. So we go ahead and do that. So here's a little bit of blue Loctite. And I'm just going to drop a little bit inside. Perfect, just like that. That there's this piece right here, and this is actually going to go through the clamp piece that goes around the muffler itself, and this is going to go into here, and then have this nut with pre-added plastic Loctite on it to fit. So just hold off on that. Now it's time for the big muffler install. Alright, preparing to install this muffler here. Just be careful with it. I've scratched it up a few times. Kind of pissed about it, but it is what it is. I would just have to mark it in with some gray marker. It comes pre-installed with the baffle already done. This one 4mm. Just loosen that guy up. On the instruction manual off the website, it says that you kind of have to tap it to get it out. If that ever is a thing. Install these headers, tighten them up with a punch, really crush that cover washer, but the back ones, these are tight. We're going to work them little by little inwards. We're not done yet, so. we lost a little bit of fluid, a little bit of radiator fluid. When you drained the radiator to move it out of the way for the exhaust install, which by the way was incredibly helpful to do, and it took, as you saw, 5 minutes to do. It just can get messy, so be prepared for that. Suzuki super long life coolant, X-Star. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to VCycleNut. He's been helping me out with just been emailing back and forth on some proper techniques here to make sure that we do this installation well. I noticed he does a lot of exhaust installs with his tuning, and I said, who better than to ask the person that's doing it all the time, right? So we're gonna start it. It's also gonna be our first start with that new exhaust. So hell yeah. Also, one more thing to note, cool trick about these Suzukis, you don't need to hold this down, just tap it. First reaction, that was amazing. That was nice and loud. It was a little smoky, but that's to be expected with a brand new exhaust. There's oils on the inside of the pipes, oils in the muffler, oils in the collector, and the mid pipe that all need to burn off. So it's gonna be a little smoky. I'm in a garage, so it's gonna amplify the sound. It's gonna seem a lot louder than it actually is. We let the bike run for a little bit, we let it warm up. Neighbors probably hate us now.